What's going on, everyone? So today we're going to build a Faraday cage. I'm going to show you exactly how, so anyone can build one. I'm mostly building this for small science experiments, and then when I'm not using it, I can store some stuff for prepping. It's good to protect radios, flashlights, battery packs, stuff like that. And if you're doing something bigger, like a Cavendish experiment, you could make one of these out of one of those giant metal trash cans. So you'll have to excuse the audio. I'm going to switch between 3 different cameras, so you're going to get some weird audio mixing. But let's get into it. A Faraday cage is a continuous conductive shell that blocks EM energy. When EM fields hit the metal, electrons move around and cancel the field on the inside. Even tiny gaps can leak radio waves or EM energy, so we need to make sure that there are 0 holes in our cage. Tight seams and clean contacts are what's important, not size or thickness of the metal. So here's what I'm using. This is a 50 caliber ammo can. It's a pretty big size. These are $15, $16 at Walmart, and they're like 18 or 20 on Amazon, but you could probably check your local military supply store for cheaper. We've got 5 feet of 10 gauge solid copper wire. This is for grounding. You don't actually need this for your Faraday cage. I'm just going to use it because you might get a shock if something's building up electricity and you go to grab this. As well as it'll protect from like lightning strikes. Heavy duty aluminum foil. I have this foam that was just sitting around for other projects, so I'm going to use this for kind of a makeshift weather stripping. Cardboard, foil tape, which I don't have, and then sandpaper and rubbing alcohol for sanding and cleaning parts of the ammo can. 2 things you probably need to buy are going to be the copper wire and the ammo can, maybe the foam. The rest of it you should be able to find laying around the house or go steal it from your parents' pantry. So the first step is removing this rubber on the inside of the lid here. So easiest way is to pop the lid off completely. Grab some pliers and go to town. Now we want to remove this rubber gasket thing because we want to make a steel one. So we're going to pop this out completely. So the next thing we want to do, I'm going to use my Dremel, is we want to sand this paint off of this, and then the paint off of the inside of the lid where the gasket was. The Dremel bit's a little too big. I'm going to have to find something different. But we essentially need to make it where there's metal contacts all over. Okay, so we sanded the brim of the can first. It doesn't need to be pretty. You just need it to be silver, essentially, so that you get solid contact. The important part is this top ridge, and then I came down a little bit on the inside and outside to get some extra. So after you sand it, clean it with some rubbing alcohol and go through and make sure that there's points where silver is touching silver the entire way around, and there are no gaps where there's paint connecting. This looks wonky because I had to bend it because the Dremel wouldn't fit there. But like that spot up there looks a little iffy, so I'll probably hit that spot again. So now what we need to do is cut the foam into strips that will fit inside of where the gasket was. I'm just going to use this, essentially trace it, and then cut it into 4 sections. Cool, so we got these cut. Now we just want to wrap them in heavy duty aluminum foil, a few layers. So then the last bit essentially is lining the inside of this with cardboard to make it so that none of your electronics touch the side and could cause like a short or something. So we're just going to trace the cardboard and then cut just on the inside. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect because it's not doing anything other than preventing the electronics inside from touching the edge. So we'll do that and then cut just inside of that traced line. Yeah, just like that's fine, and then we're going to do the sides and the front and the back. So we're switching to vertical, and we're going to do split screen two cameras, the GoPro and the main camera, and then the audio we're going to end up switching between the two so we can hear things. But we're going to go GoPro in. We're going to first test the Apple phone. The iPhone has this with the Apple Watch, or we can ping it. So we'll throw this in here, and then see what happens if we ping it. So, looks like it didn't go off. There's a delayed reaction and it went off right when we opened it. So the next test, I don't have a little radio I can put in here, but we'll test our Wi-Fi signal. So we've got this network called the Hills Have Eyes Mini, and when we look here, the last 3 times it's run, it's 72, 72, 72 dBms, and you can see there 11:06 and 57 seconds. And then if we check it again, it's run more times, 11:07 and 14 seconds. So we're going to throw it in here and then let it run for 2 minutes and then pull it out and check if it got a signal. Okay, so I just walked away for a few minutes. It's 11:10 my time now. Let's see what happened with this. It pulled up this. It seemed to do that every once in a while. So, Hills Have Eyes Mini. Getting all my notifications now. Here we go. Hills Have Eyes Mini. So, let's go find it. So yeah, so it ran 80, 80, 80, 80 and at 11:07, and then didn't get any signals for almost 3 minutes while I walked away. So yeah, it looks like this thing works. Like I said, I don't have a little radio to test it with, but I will be building some stuff to test and see if we can block Earth's magnetic field. But yeah, this is great for any science experiments. Like I said, you can do it in a big can or change it up. You just need metal on metal contact surrounding the entire thing. If you want to use it for science experiments, it's great. If you want to use it for prepping, this would be great to store a set of walkie-talkies, maybe a flashlight or two, and then some batteries or those like battery packs. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on how you can quickly and easily build a Faraday cage out of a cheap ammo box and some aluminum foil and block out all the EMs.